Why is it that so many of us find ourselves caught in relationships where we're constantly doing more, trying harder, and caring deeper, only to watch the other person slowly pull away? You've probably experienced this painful paradox. The more intensely you care, the less they seem to. It's as if your increased effort creates an invisible force pushing them further from you, not closer. Think about it. You're the one sending the morning texts, making plans for the weekend, and asking how her day went. You're the one remembering important dates and noticing when something feels off. Meanwhile, she's become increasingly distant, less responsive, maybe even irritated by the very attention you thought would bring you closer together. There's this voice in your head that whispers, "If I just show her how much I care, she'll eventually reciprocate." But that voice has been lying to you. This approach isn't working, and deep down, you know it. What you're experiencing isn't unique to you. It's a painfully common dynamic that plays out in countless relationships, and it has a name: anxious-avoidant attachment. When you become the anxious partner, constantly reaching, checking, and seeking reassurance, you inadvertently push the other person into an avoidant position, where their primary instinct becomes creating distance. But here's what's really happening beneath the surface. Your increasing investment isn't actually about her. It's about your own growing insecurity. Each text you send that goes unanswered, each plan you make that's met with hesitation, each emotional bid that's ignored, these moments chip away at your sense of worth in the relationship. And so, you try harder, hoping that more effort will finally earn you the connection you crave. The cruel irony is that this very behavior, this reaching, this grasping, is precisely what's destroying the natural balance that attraction requires. You've created a dynamic where you value her attention more than you value your own time and emotional energy. And humans, as much as we might deny it, rarely value what comes too easily. So what's the alternative? It's not about playing games or manufacturing scarcity. It's about something much more fundamental: reclaiming your own center of gravity. Let me walk you through what this looks like in practice. First, you need to understand that there's a profound difference between caring about someone and caring for them at the expense of yourself. The former is healthy, the latter is a slow form of self-erasure. When you stop over-investing, something remarkable begins to happen. The energetic imbalance that's been suffocating your connection starts to correct itself. But this isn't about suddenly becoming cold or distant. That would just be another form of manipulation. This is about something much more authentic, becoming genuinely reinvested in your own life. What would it look like if you redirected even half the energy you've been pouring into this relationship back into yourself? What passions have you been neglecting? What friendships have gone untended? What parts of your life have you been putting on hold while waiting for her response? Here's the counterintuitive truth. Your obsessive focus on making her care more is actually making you less attractive, not just to her, but to everyone around you, including yourself. You've become a reduced version of who you really are, a person whose worth seems tied to the validation of someone who isn't even fully present. The path forward requires courage. It means being willing to feel the discomfort of not reaching out, not checking in, not being the one who always makes sure things are okay. It means sitting with the anxiety that arises when you stop trying to control something you never could control in the first place, another person's feelings. But this isn't about playing hard to get, it's about getting hard to play. It's about becoming so solidly anchored in your own value that you no longer need to chase the affirmation of someone who isn't freely giving it. Think about the relationships you've had where you felt secure, valued, and at ease. Were those the ones where you were constantly proving your worth? Or were they the ones where both people simply enjoyed each other's company without the exhausting dance of pursuit and retreat? When you stop over-investing, you create space. Space for her to step forward, yes, but more importantly, space for you to remember who you are beyond this relationship dynamic. And paradoxically, it's this very act of reclaiming your own center that makes you magnetic again. Let me be clear, this isn't manipulation. You're not withdrawing attention as punishment or playing mind games to spark jealousy. You're simply restoring balance by redirecting your focus to where it always should have been: your own growth, happiness, and fulfillment. This shift requires practical steps. Start by creating a schedule for yourself that doesn't revolve around her availability. Reconnect with friends you've neglected. Resume hobbies you've abandoned. Set work goals that excite you. Exercise. Read. Create. Live as if your value isn't dependent on her response to your last message. When you do interact, be fully present, but release your grip on expectations about where things should go or what she should feel. Real attraction can't be forced or coerced. it can only be inspired. And nothing inspires attraction like encountering someone who is whole unto themselves. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the old patterns call to you, when the urge to check in, to make sure, to overgive comes rushing back. In those moments, remind yourself, your worth isn't determined by her response. Your happiness isn't contingent on her feelings changing. You are reclaiming your power, not to control the outcome, but to be okay, regardless of what the outcome is. The hardest truth to accept might be this one. Sometimes, no matter what you do, someone simply won't reciprocate your feelings at the level you desire. And if that's the case, wouldn't you rather discover that while standing firmly in your dignity, rather than having exhausted yourself trying to change an unchangeable reality? When you stop orbiting around her as if she's the sun in your universe, one of two things will happen. Either she'll begin to see you differently, this man who has mysteriously reclaimed his own gravity, and she'll find herself drawn closer to the force of your self-possession. Or she won't. And if she doesn't, you'll already be well on your way to creating a life rich enough that her absence, while perhaps still painful, doesn't devastate you. This is the paradox at the heart of all meaningful connection. To be truly desirable to others, you must first be fully invested in yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but in the deep, affirming knowledge that you bring value to any interaction simply by being authentically present. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 2 weeks, match her energy exactly. No more, no less. If she texts briefly, respond briefly. If she wants to see you once a week, see her once a week. If she seems distant, allow that distance to exist without trying to close it through force of will or displays of increasing devotion. Meanwhile, use every ounce of that reclaimed energy to reinvest in yourself. Notice how it feels to make decisions based on what genuinely interests and excites you, rather than what might impress or please her. Pay attention to how your confidence shifts when you stop leaking power through constant concern about her level of engagement. Remember, the goal isn't to make her care more. The goal is to care more appropriately, to care in a way that honors both your feelings for her and your responsibility to yourself, to care enough to be honest about what's really happening, rather than what you wish was happening, to care wisely, not desperately. The most attractive quality in anyone isn't their devotion, it's their wholeness. When you restore your own wholeness by stepping back from overinvestment, you create the only conditions under which genuine mutual attraction can flourish, a meeting between two complete individuals who choose each other freely, rather than one person grasping while the other retreats. Stop caring more, start living more, and watch as the natural balance of genuine connection either restores itself or reveals that what you thought was a relationship was actually just a pattern of pursuit and distance that was never going to fulfill you anyway. Either way, you win. Not by controlling her response, but by reclaiming the one thing that was always yours to control. Your own magnificent capacity to live a life worthy of your attention, your energy, and yes, your care.